Chapter 834, My Dream. Hello and welcome once again to the Pod D Cast, the show where we talk about one piece of shit. I am the best guy ever, and with me as always is Hippocrit.
Hello.
And this week's chapter was Chapter 834, Boku no Yume da! Or as you fucking reverse gooks would call it, My Dream. So, this chapter was super dense with shit,
yes.
And it was really good. This isn't a criticism I would often make because I love all the information in One Piece, but it was a little bit wordier, especially like the Caesar bits. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
he's talking for a long time.
He went crazy with elaboration. I mean, that was the point of the scene. He was trying to make it out that he was having such a hard time.
Yeah, that's true. When you're in a situation like that, you're probably going to have a lot of thoughts going through your mind real fast too.
I like the words though, like the amount of information that we got about all these different things is pretty great.
Oh man, there was a lot going on, and it was all very interesting. Even if I thought some of it, he was a little bit more verbose than was strictly necessary. But yeah, it was great. So let's see. The chapter starts with
Sanji and
Sanji,
and he's got his bracelets on, and there's from the last chapter, realizing that he's fucking stuck and he can't really do anything. And
I liked it.
Yeah, I like the little flashback where we see the peg leg. So
I was gonna say, you know what's of course it's fucking Zeff. He's the only man. He's literally the only man in the series with a peg leg.
Is he?
Except for Shiki, who has swords for legs.
Oh yeah.
But
well yeah,
he's double leg sword. Zeff, I thought that was extremely tastefully done. That was definitely my favorite part of the chapter, just for the sheer emotional impact, because it was subtle. It was two tiny panels that never showed Zeff, and it just makes me feel like I get this. Yeah. I know what's going on.
And it sort of alleviates that concern we had about did he learn about cooking from home? And obviously not, because it's like Zeff is his real father. He feels like that's his dad there.
Well, okay, that's totally true, and I can't wait to hear him talk about how you're not my dad. My real dad is fucking Zeff. Oh man, I just realized that's probably gonna happen, and it's gonna be awesome.
It is.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. After that, there was some discussion. We could really just go scene by scene, because each one has important stuff. The next one was so there's news going around that Jinbe pussied out and is backtracking off trying to leave the crew or something.
Yeah, what happened with him? I can't remember. He went to Mama, and then she said, you gotta give something in return. And we don't know what that is. The last thing
we saw was him about to, I guess, spin the wheel of loss or something.
Oh, yeah.
Frankly, that whole thing definitely does not interest me, because I know from reading this series so long and reading Shonen so long, nothing's going to happen. Jinbei's going to be fine. It's all going to be a misunderstanding. Not very interested in that. He's going to be a cool guy, and then the only thing that's interesting about Jinbei is whether or not he'll join the crew, and we're not on that yet, so I don't really care. But what was interesting was the fact that it was Brook overhearing people talk about that. And my God, it's so nice to see Brook actually do something for once, even if it's only just listen to people talk about other characters. It's when Brook's there, he feels like he matters. And, it's rare, but it's really good. And he looked funny with his turban around his head.
Yeah, I like the turban. It looks like he's a nut, like one of those walnut thing.
He does look like a walnut. And his head can crack open, too.
It's the double crack.
Yeah. And I thought it was cool when... so they see Baron Tamago, the big Eggman, who's the coolest guy in the whole series.
Dr. Robotnik.
He's Dr. Robotnik for sure. Was just talking shit about Pekoms, which is understandable, because... was something...
I always assumed it was pronounced Pekoms.
Pekoms?
Yeah.
I always call them Pekoms.
Well,
I need to see it in katakana or hiragana. You know what? I'm going to Google it right now. I'm going to find out. Pekoms. Pekoms, One Piece. It is pronounced... Hold. Oh, God, you're right. It's Pekoms.
Pekoms.
Pekoms. Okay, well, I have to change my whole life outlook now.
I always just thought Pekoms was cuter sounding, because he has those tiny little eyes.
That is definitely cuter. Well, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so Baron Tamago was partners with Pekoms, but now he's like, oh shit, Pekoms has betrayed us, and what was interesting about that was less about Pekoms, because we already know that he's kind of a traitor to Big Mom, because he helped the Straw Hats get here, was the fact that, shit. Oh, right. They were talking about how he also knew Pedro. That's right. Yeah. That's right. He also knew Pedro, and it's hinting at this whole like mink backstory that's going to be tied into the adventure that Nekomushi and Inamushi and Gold Roger was fucking involved with, and this whole it's all. Yeah. I want to know what's going on back there, man. That's the good stuff. I can't wait to get there.
I just love how in this chapter there's like 5 or so different things that are setting up for like huge revelatory moments where we find out what's going on. Like, so many different mysteries going on at once.
Ooh, people do not appreciate... People who aren't as smart as us, Gib, Hippo, do not appreciate what one of the best things about One Piece is kind of the fact that it's so long, and there's all these mysteries laid, and they all get answered if you just hang in there. And it's fun. The whole ride is fun. And when you finally get, like when we finally found out... I don't know, like, one example was, like, when they talked about, just even a more recent one, they talked about, like, they talked about the current 6th Shichibukai, and there's that other guy we just finished talking about, he's teasing you, and then later, it's fucking Edward Weeble, and he's like, whoa, who's this crazy character? He's that guy we were talking about a million years ago. It's,
and is more like a crazy one is finding out Brook was Laboon's, the crew.
Yeah.
That Laboon was fun with. Like, you meet Laboon so early on, you don't think you're going to find that crew. There's just a crew, and they gave up. Mm-hmm. But they didn't.
And they didn't. And it's... Oh, God, that fucking story is so fucking awesome. It's the best. But my favorite... I just want to say my favorite one of all is like the most contained story for me in all of One Piece, but it's so long that you still get like mysteries planted and then answered, and it's just the shadow people before Skypiea, before Jaya, in fact. Like, they're the first thing you see, the shadow dudes, the giant ones, and then at the very end, you're like, oh my God. It was and that whole thing ties in with the resolution of the arc. Like, emotionally and narratively, it is the best fucking thing that's ever been committed to manga.
Oh, you mean when Luffy's shadow
when he rings the bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like all those things happen at once. Like, you find out what's going on down on Earth with Mont Blanc Norland. You find out about the shadow dudes. You find out about the bell. You ring the bell. You answer like that. The whole flashback with Mont Blanc Cricket? No, right, Mont Blanc Norland, the old guy, and Calgara, like the promise they made to return home has been done by the fact that Mont Blanc Cricket helped Luffy to ring the bell that was heard up in the sky by Wiper, the descendant of fucking Calgara. It's the greatest arc of all time! And
it really is. That now
it
you're
really
saying
is.
It like that.
It really is.
It really is like a really well contained on its own.
I'm going to talk about it
thing.
extensively one day. Yeah, it's amazing. But we're getting off track a little bit.
All right, so there's that bit. Then we got Capone Bege or Bege.
I call him Bege, but that's probably wrong because I've been wrong about Pekoms.
I called him Bege for a while. I don't know why.
He's a Bege. He's not French though. He doesn't do the baguettes. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm gonna look this one up too. His name is pronounced Bege.
Bege?
No, wait, no. It's actually it's a little Sioux, which is like Beji. It's like, it's supposed to be 2 J's in a row. It's like Bejji. Beji. It's I think it's Italian sounding, it's supposed to be. I don't know. I can't pronounce it.
Well, whatever.
There's another guy whose name is an X, which is pronounced fucking Ekis. So whatever. All rules are out the window. Yeah. But this was his best appearance by far. He finally felt like he's starting to be a real character. Actually, you know what? To be fair, that started on, back on
the big elephant.
Zoe. Yeah. On Zoe, yeah, when we saw his power, and he was like, "Oh, fuck you guys! I work with Big Mom. I'm a cool guy now." But seeing him here,
he's very much got his own agenda and plan going. Mm-hmm. Like he's killing characters, and he's got his own schemes, which is cool.
So let's talk about and I love the fact that he's married to one of Big Mom's daughters, which makes sense because he's allied with them, and she just does that with her kids, which is totally cool.
By the way, she looks literally identical to Lola. So
she's literally. Yeah.
I think Lola is confirmed a daughter of Big Mom.
I think we can confirm, dude. You know what would be great if it turned out that all this was a misdirect and Lola actually isn't Big Mom's daughter. Now that would be a shocker. Nobody would see that coming.
But then
that's
she'd
the way
be
to make it
completely irrelevant as a character from now on.
You know, I'd be okay because I've been predicting this since she first showed up, and she talked about how cool a pirate her mom was, and we knew Big Mom existed. I'm down. If he defies my expectations into something else meaningful, could be cool. Could be cool.
Could be. All right.
But I liked Capone's son had stubble despite being like within 0 to 2 years old and had a fucking cigar in his mouth and was just toking that shit. Capone is the greatest father of all, and you know he was joking around with his son. What a good dad, you know. Lets his son get crunked up on ganj, and gives him a nice fedora, and
can you even have,
makes him laugh.
A cigar made of weed? Is that possible? Do they do those?
Oh God. I mean, I'm sure you could do it, but like, you're not even supposed to inhale cigars. I used to smoke cigars wrong. Like once a year, me and my friends back in like high school would smoke a cigar like on prom night or whatever, and like I inhaled it, and that's not what you're supposed to do with cigar. The point is, it's too much smoke. You don't want that much smoke in your lungs with cigar. It's not good for you. So you could, but it's a very bad idea. And yeah, so. He straight up executed Pekoms. I mean, more or less. He shot him once, which, as we know, Law got shot like 50 times and was fine. So, you know, I'm not... This is the One Piece, so nobody's dead until we see their hat fall slowly to the ground. But it really looked like... You know, I liked the personality in that scene because he was, like, smiling evilly and stuff was going on. That was cool, but was I reading that correctly? And I want your opinion, because I think I'm wrong about this. Was he, like, betraying Big Mom somehow? And this was, like... Because Pekom says, like, your biggest mistake will be underestimating Mama. And it's like, okay, so sounds like Pekom's is loyal to Big Mom.
What's going on is... Capone is killing Pekoms outside of Big Mama's jurisdiction. Like, she doesn't know he's dying. He can just say, he fell off the boat or something happened. And he's doing it so that he can further his own position in the crew or in the family. Okay.
I don't know why he's planning to take over?
But I think he just doesn't like Pekoms a lot.
Okay, but Pekoms, I can't remember exactly what happened, but Pekoms did betray them at
He betrayed them...
That's true.
By
siding with the animal people, the minks shit, right?
Because the minks and the straw hats and all that friendship going on is not good. Gotta shoot him. Yeah.
Capone is very anti-friendship, that's for sure. And he gives that speech like, Pekoms, you were too soft all along. You had too much, you were literally too good of a person. You have to be shit like me if you want to make it. So, fuck you. And then he blasted him. But, you know, I'm really glad to see, because, you know, Bege was like, whatever, Capone was like by far the least intimidating member of the Supernovas, and I'd always wondered what had he done really to deserve this position? And he had a lot of followers. That's true.
Back in the you know when he was introduced.
Yeah, but we've seen way better powers. I guess so. You know, and I really like his power that he's got all these people that like hide in him and can shoot cannonballs out, and you know. Have artillery guys and stuff. That's all really cool, but you know, you need a bit more. You need a bit more for me, just narratively, for me to like buy that. Like, okay, this guy deserves to be in the level of like Kid and Luffy, and you know the rest of the dudes. Same with Urouge. Urouge needs a bit.
I would say though,
they're starting there. I
like Capone at the moment because it's not so much he's a tough guy gonna beat you up sort of villain or character. He's like a schemer, you know, and all the other ones seem to be more like Luffy, where they would just, you know, Kid.
Did you just say Luffy? His name is Monkey D. Luffy. He's going to be king
Luffy
of the pirates.
Because that's how I speak words, idiot.
You're the idiot.
They seem more like brutes, is what I mean. Like they would, I think.
Yeah, I hear you.
They were fighting. What's his face? The other guy.
The fighting Foodons. I don't know who you're talking about. What do you mean?
They were fighting the other fucking guy.
Are you talking about other supernovas?
The guy who can't die. I forget his name.
Basil Hawkins.
Oh, yeah, but who were they fighting? What was his name? What is his name of the guy?
Kizaru. The fucking, he was fighting. Oh, you're talking about fucking Kaido. You're talking about Kaido.
I couldn't figure his name. Yeah, big
Dumbo.
Big guy. They were fighting him as. That's what I'm saying.
I've been wanting to reread because I think there was like a couple chapters ago. There was like a little thing that showed. I guess I'm being a bad fan right now, but Kid, as I recall, was shown like imprisoned by Kaido somewhere. Am I right?
Yeah,
that's the thing that happened,
they tried to fight him and beat him, but they couldn't, or something.
Well, he just fell into their fucking lair, which is that's the kind of thing that One Piece can do, and I love that Kaido, the strongest man in the world, the strongest beast in the world, could just fall into the headquarters of like these three important characters, and that's just what happens. And we're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now? And the story just rolls from there. I don't mind it at all. I think it's fantastic. I couldn't be more in favor of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Capone is great, and I want to see all the supernovas get their... Oh, you know what I was going to say? The reason I like Capone so much now is just that Capone and all the supernovas have been empty vessels waiting to be filled with, like, characterization and, like, backstory, and I know that Oda plans that because he's a genius and he plans everything. And, like, now that I'm seeing it, like, oh, he's allied with Big Mom, and he's like, father... And that's what he was called by his crew, and he's got a son, and he's a schemer, and like he's working some back alley plans to like take over the crew or angle himself to more power. That's what I want. I want him to be that guy, and now it's happening, and it really makes it's so much better than just introducing a new guy. Having an old guy like this come back and be like, aha, I am the great guy that Oda and foreshadowing are. Oda's the best. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, so the next thing is Caesar and Big Mom.
Oh, yes.
So this whole thing about Caesar not being able to do the gigantism or whatever. Well, first, let's talk about Big Mom's dream.
Hey, wait, can I make a quick side point? You know why Big Mom doesn't like Caesar, why she's mad at Caesar?
Why?
It's because he reminds her of Caesar salad, and she doesn't like vegetables. That's the greatest joke I've ever made in my entire life. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on. You're laughing. You liked it.
No. The dream, her dream is kind of weird. I'm trying to figure it out. She wants to become family with all the races of the world, and then...
It's definitely vague. It's very vague.
What I'm reading in whatever version I've got here is she wants to enjoy a meal with her diverse family at eye level while we sit around with not a care in the world.
Yeah.
And she's talking about gigantifying the entire family. Does she literally mean she wants her family to be as big as her so that she can...
I mean, dude, she's bankrolling a man who is getting results at gigantifying people. So I gotta say, it literally appears that she wants to gigantify her whole family and have a meal with them. And
it's
that's it. She literally wants to make them huge.
Dream.
It's extremely specific. And you know what? That's what I like about her. She's like, you know what? I want everyone to be fucking huge. Because she's fucking huge. You know, no one's on her level. I want everyone to be huge so we can sit around the table and have a nice meal, and by Christ, I'm going to spend whatever resources are needed to make this fucking thing happen. I'm one of the most powerful people in the world. Take whatever money you need, take whatever tech you need, I'll build you 1,000,000 of labs, however many you need, and I'll hire literally the greatest scientist in the world besides Vegapunk to make it happen so I can make my retarded dream come true. I gotta respect that kind of commitment.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
There's probably some deeper reason behind it, but... that'll come later.
I totally
Maybe.
agree. I think that you're absolutely right. And I gotta say that the whole thing about her dream was really the most interesting part of the whole chapter to me, because I can tell, because when you've read One Piece for this long, you get an instinct about what things are important and what's going to come back. So I can tell you exactly right now how this arc is going to end. It's going to end with Luffy making a shaky piece sort of thing. He's going to use the paper in his hat from Lola, that's Big Mom's daughter, to, like, you know, get her attention and be like, hey, I'm a good guy, kind of, but that won't be enough. But what will be enough is when I'm not exactly sure how, but there will be something that happens that Luffy makes her dream come true. The giant party, the giant meal at eye level is going to happen. Yeah, maybe he will, he's pretty big, but I think she wants to do it with her whole family. Something's going to happen. I don't know what yet. Something is going to happen to make Big Mom's dream come true, and it's going to make her best friends with Luffy, and that's going to be the end of the arc. That's what's going to happen. I can guarantee it.
I don't know whether a best friend sort of thing. Maybe he'll be able to, distract her long enough so that they could all escape or something. I don't think he's going to beat her up. She's a bit too powerful.
Well, obviously not. I hope not. That would be bad if he could just defeat her. That's too much. He shouldn't be able to beat a Yonko yet. I think he will be good friends with her by the end. I think he will leave happily, peacefully. I don't know, maybe there'll be some shenanigans, like at the end of Skypiea, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen, people.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful, because at the end of every arc, there's always a giant party. This time, the giant party is going to be the climax of the story. It's going to happen. I guarantee it. All right.
With literal giants, because of the science.
Something's going to happen. Maybe it'll be a temporary giganticism because Luffy will help Caesar. I don't know, but something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
God, I just love all this, the Caesar being locked up in the thing with 2 weeks to live. He's probably going to be a part of, helping Luffy.
He's going to be involved, for sure.
He needs to escape, otherwise he's going to die. So he wants Luffy to win in some way.
Otis planting them seeds, man. He's planting them seeds.
All these seeds, all these things are just going to come to a head. And it's happened so many times before, you'd know it's going to be good.
That's right. And I liked the idea of Caesar spending all this fliff money to bring, ship hose onto fucking Pug Hazard, just to, fuck. And, by the way, I'm sure he was fucking Monet. There's no way he wasn't doing that, because I would if I were him, so he must have too. That's my logic. And we got to meet Big Mom's firstborn son, who I was really looking forward to meeting, and I want to meet the firstborn daughter, too. Pero, and the lick fruit. The man has eaten the lick fruit.
Oh. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna say he turns things into candy with his tongue, and that cane he has, it might have been a person at some point.
So you're saying wherever he goes, he'll take you to the candy shop.
Oh god, you know what? He's probably the guy who makes all those candy people. He licks them and they turn into candy.
You know what I think? Well, okay, Big Mom obviously has life powers, and this guy obviously has candy powers. It is my guess that they work in combination. He makes the candy, she makes the life.
Oh yeah, the life.
And they're a team. That's my guess. But yeah, I'm sure he's involved, and he's a cool dude. I really like the Candyland. It's like Alice in Wonderland combined with Candyland, and we're there, man. We're there. She's Queen Frostine. It's awesome.
Thinking of
he's
Willy
King Peppermint.
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory also.
Yeah, that too. Oh, it's the coolest. And then at the end of the chapter, of course, okay, so the end of the chapter is the Luffy scene, where Luffy's he's got busy work of collecting all these clones. It's he's still doing the thing that I thought had already been resolved when they captured the doppelganger girl from the woods or whatever, but he's still fucking around there.
No, alright, here's the thing.
Okay, tell me.
Nami and all them, they went off and they got captured or are in conflict with that old lady. Forget her name.
Oh shit,
and
okay.
the real Luffy is still in the forest and he doesn't know what the hell's going on yet.
Okay, I missed that.
So yeah, he's finding clones all over the place, which I guess are part of that what's-her-face's power. She's turning things into clones that can deceive people in the forest.
I guess we don't know her exact fruit or anything yet, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. But
they do seem to be acting. I mean, there's a little bit of text saying they're multiplying like rabbits. They could actually be rabbits, or some sort of animal just being turned into looking like people. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and that'll be cool to see because they all act weird, except for the one who acts. Oh wait, no, that was her who acted just like Luffy. But the thing is. Every fucking arc, man. Every single fucking arc, Luffy is by far the strongest guy on our team, and they have to do something to keep Luffy busy until the end when he goes and he beats up the bad guy or resolves the conflict in whatever way he's going to do because he's the most important person around. And I gotta say, I am always annoyed by these little, like, distraction side missions. Like, in Skypiea, he was just trapped in a snake for, like, forever. In let's see, Water 7 was better because he was fighting dudes. It happens a lot.
I kind of agree. I mean, it does happen a lot, but I don't mind it too much because it allows for all the more interesting stuff, or not the more interesting stuff, but like other stuff for other characters to do, like all the information Brook was getting. That's true. Like, that's true and all. I mean, there's a lot of characters. You need a way to keep people busy.
Well, okay, here's what I would prefer. I would just prefer it if they just didn't show him doing anything. Just take the time and just put some extra panels in. I'm sick of these Luffy side missions that are literally a complete waste of time, that nothing is accomplished, and it's just like a big... It's not even funny. I'm not even amused that he's... Okay, you know what? I'm a little amused that he's running around collecting clones of his friends and doesn't get that they're all not literally the person he thinks they are. That's kind of funny.
I mean, it's part of Luffy's character that he doesn't know what the hell's going on until he's like, okay, there's a guy to punch, I'll do it.
It's just, it's because in, like, Skypiea, he gets out of the snake at the exact perfect time. After all his friends have been defeated, there's no hope left, and then Luffy shows up. Like, it's obviously for dramatic effect and, like, narrative convenience, and that's the thing that really annoys me about it. The fact that it's so clearly manufactured, like, outside of what would actually be happening if it were real life. It's like too convenient. And I can forgive a lot of the luck Luffy has. It's just, this one is particularly glaring to me, the fact that Oda keeps doing this. I wish he would stop. I know he's never going to, because he's got to be there, and he has to beat up the boss, and he has to be doing something until that point.
I will say, I don't like getting lost in a forest sort of scenarios. Like, this is kind of that, like in Skypiea, where it's not so much... Because, like, what was it? Who was the guys going with down the boat? It was
down the boat, there was
Sanji
Usopp and not Zoro. Luffy, no. Konus was there. Luffy was there. Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji, I think.
Okay. Well, okay, that part of that was okay, but the whole being lost in the forest for ages, I just don't like forests.
Yeah, it's annoying, you know? It's not that fun. You know what? It goes a lot faster in the manga, though.
It does.
It's just it's not super fun to be reading a weekly manga like this where people are just, like, lost. When there's so many important things going on, it's like, oh, and then we're talking about this guy who's just lost in the woods. Well, like, Big Mom over here is, like, revolutionizing the world. It's like, why would I care about this when there's this kind of shit going on? And I know not everything can be super, like, high stakes or anything, but I think it's a pretty clear case of this isn't super great, you know?
Yeah. I don't mind it too much because I know it has to happen. There's just no way for all this stuff to be... this cool stuff to be happening with Luffy just being everywhere or being
To be honest, I have no solution. I'm just complaining about it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the end of the chapter. So it was good. Definitely a super great, dense chapter. It was awesome. Had lots of good stuff. And as always, I just want fucking more.
Yep.
Yep. All right, we're done. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.